Oh, oh, oh my God. Oh, OMG, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, oh Lord. Ah, ah, oh, 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 you all. Oh my God. Oh, oh my Lord. Oh, 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 man. I just watched some of the greatest damn television I have ever watched in my entire life. I mean, good Lord, people. Oh, oh. What's up, Jeff? How you doing, bro? Oh my God.
Oh man, I think I need a cigarette, bro.
All right, I can't hear you. So I don't know if it's me or you. Oh, can't hear you.
How about now? Can you? All right. Can
All
the
right, for whatever reason,
audience
I can't hear you.
can the audience hear me?
Yo, can y'all hear me for you? Can y'all hear me for that matter? I don't even know. Can anybody hear anybody? I'm screaming and I don't even know if people are hearing me scream or not.
I don't know if you can hear me
Can
at
y'all
all.
hear me or Jeff? I ain't getting nothing.
Hang on, I'm gonna call back in.
All right, so y'all hear me and Jeff, but I can't hear Jeff. All right. Okay, so Jeff dropped out. He's gonna come back on. All right, so you guys can hear me. All right, let's see.
Hey, so it looks like they can hear. You can hear me?
Still can't hear Jeff. What the?
Okay. They can hear us both.
That's what I'll be talking about, man. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Did your headphones die?
All right, need go real quick.
Well, since you guys can hear me, what I was telling him for the question he had asked me, I said that I needed to smoke a cigarette after that episode. Because, good Lord. Now, I
There
don't
we
smoke.
go. Now I can hear him.
Okay, I was just explaining that to answer your question. I was saying that I needed a cigarette after that episode. I don't smoke, but I felt like I needed something. Now I was like, good Lord.
Oh Lord, have mercy, Jeff. Oh, oh, it was so great. It was so fucking great.
Oh man,
Oh,
dude, it did not go as I expected in one way and another. But man, that the whole scene, man,
I'm sorry. I'm about to apologize to all the Marvel nerds in the audience, but that whole episode was better than Endgame. The entire movie. That episode was better than Endgame, bro. I don't care what nobody says. Oh my God. Whoa.
dude,
Whoa.
man.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
How'd you like the first 20 minutes of tension building up?
Oh. I was kind of getting annoyed because
like, let's go, right?
I'm like, dude, we did it for the past 2 weeks, and y'all just like, can we get to some battling? But damn, then we got to the battling. I mean, good. Oh man. Oh boy.
It was worth it.
It was so crazy because first I'm like, all right, we got they all fighting stuff, but we got Daenerys barbecuing everybody from above. Daenerys had like the highest body count of anybody until then it happened. I don't mean not just any ordinary event. It happened, people. It happened, and we never saw it coming. Oh my, that's the beauty of it. Nobody predicted that was coming. Nobody. This came completely out of left field, man. Oh my Lord. Oh man. Lord.
I'm saying, dude, I was not. I mean, I thought I was ready. I was not ready.
Oh no, I was not prepared for that, bro. I was not prepared for what happened at the end. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, you should have heard us in the house, man. We were over here screaming, dude. It was crazy.
You should have saw me, bro. I was louder than I am right now. This shit was lit. It was Jeff. Jeff, I don't think you understand, Jeff. I've been waiting all week for this episode. Right? I was hyped. I was lit. But there are a few things in life, Jeff. A few things in life that live up to expectations. Oh my!
I think it exceeded my expectations, to be honest.
Yes. And not only did it live up to expectations, Jeff, it went over and on top and beyond expectations, Jeff. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Look, Tech Examine, he got it right. He said Arya came the fuck in like John fucking Wick.
I mean, I'm thinking to myself, if the Night King killed Bran, then the show's over with. Like, what are we doing here? But then out of nowhere, out of nowhere, she comes in like a badass and just straight go yank. And then he catches her midair like he's the Big Show, like we watching WWE or something. Catches her midair, she drops her dagger. But then what I didn't even notice until the when I watched the episode recap, she caught the dagger in midair and stabbed his ass. Like what? Oh, what? Are you serious, bro? Out of all the people on Game of Thrones, the one to kill the Night King, the way she killed the Night King was Arya Stark, bro. Oh. Yep. And that means not only did Arya Stark kill the Night King, that means that she now has a higher body count than Daenerys, because Daenerys was barbecuing every damn body. But then Arya's like, hold my beer. And then she comes from midair and just straight 1-2, just hit him with the 1-2 move, drop the knife, caught the knife, bam! Oh my God! Holy shit, son! What did I just see, Joe? What did we just watch, bro?
Man, I ain't even ready. Like that's like watching a dope movie, but it would just suck to not have any of the context.
Oh
man, it was so good though, man. I'm like, dude. But here's we a lot of people didn't even. I don't know how a lot of people didn't see it coming. Was the fact that the crypt, man. We knew there was going to be a battle down there.
No, the funny thing was, I saw the fan theory throughout the week, explaining how that could happen. I didn't think it was going to happen because, like, everybody was saying, like, there's nothing but piles of bone and ash down there. They can't do that. But, yep, they did that, too. I mean, good Lord. They threw everything at us in this episode. Everything, and the kitchen and the damn thing. They threw everything at us. It was amazing. Oh, it was so amazing.
Man. You know what? You see how when they first came in after they basically wiped out the Dothraki, and when they came in like a tidal wave, do you see how they were like flying over each other? Dude, that was crazy, bro.
They were lit, bro. The undead was just like, no, let me at him, bro. The undead was just they were crawling on each other, jumping on each other. It was they were like a bunch of rabid dogs trying to get at everybody. It was craziness. It was absolute madness. Oh my God. Oh, Joe. Oh,
the Night King was like, I almost had you, and Arya was like, you never even had your car. For real, it's just nope. She was doing
Arya's like, oh really? Arya's like, you think it go in like this, huh, bro? Not at all.
That was she did that same move that she did on Brienne when they were training.
Oh my God, it was magical. Roberto, how you doing, bro? Roberto, how you doing, bro? Yes, get it out, Roberto, get it out. No, that was great. Jesus Christ, Roberto.
Man, it was neat.
Greatest hour and a half of television ever filmed.
Ever.
I thought the Battle of Blackwater Bay was like, damn. But they, or even the Battle of the Bastards. But like, I was like, how are you gonna top the Battle of the Bastards? Like, nope. Like, it's just like, all right, we got you. I was like, all right.
The way they set it up was so good because everybody was getting their ass kicked, and we're like, damn. You actually thought for a minute that it might be the end of the show. Like the show looked like it was over with at that point.
I genuinely thought that for a moment. I'm like, are they gonna really throw like rip our heart out, pour salt on it by killing Arya? There were a couple of moments where I was like afraid for Arya. I was like, no, plot armor. She's got to kill Cersei. She's got to kill Cersei. But there was a couple of moments there.
There was a couple of moments for everybody. I thought there was a moment that Jon and Daenerys both might bite the dust. Like, damn. But
I was sitting there like, am I wrong? Or am I predicting wrong? Or like, am I wrong? And
okay, so basically what this does for me is that there's no way now that Arya kills Cersei. They're not going to give her two big moments in a row. I don't think so. So I think somebody else can go kill Cersei. It's not going to be Arya.
Well, she's going. Let me put it like this: she's going to put Cersei in the ICU, and I mean, I still genuinely believe that Cersei's going to be suffering a slow death at Arya's hands, but Jaime is going to be forced to literally kill her as a mercy kill. That's my belief. That's like why, like, just because that would just really just wreck him more. Like, because I feel like that's just kind of the way they're going with his redemption arc, is just taking everything from him.
I think it'd be poetic to have him do it.
Also, I think we're gonna pay off Braun being set up with the crossbow to kill them both, because remember what Tyrion said in season 1. The day it comes when someone tells you to betray me, whatever they're paying, remember, I'll pay more.
Yep.
They're gonna pay that off. He said that so long ago. It's like he's like, Tyrion is like said that if ever someone wants me to kill him, he'll pay more. Done.
Yep.
I'm seeing it. I love. It's funny how they kind of foreshadowed the thing with the Night King, because didn't Arya pull that same move on Brienne?
Yeah, she did it when they were training together. Yeah, that was a good payoff.
Mm-hmm. They paid off everything.
It was crazy. Like, she came at him with the knife. He caught her in midair. She dropped the knife. Then caught the knife in midair.
Wait, when she came, you were like, "Oh, he's done," right?
Kind of, but I kind of figured something would happen because he was looking at her like he looked at her like, no, it ain't happening today.
Nope.
But she dropped the knife and then somehow caught the knife in midair and put him to sleep. I'm like, what? Oh my god! Highest body count and the whole damn show goes to Arya Stark on one move. Actually, it was 2 moves. Oh my
perfect.
god!
No, it was perfect. It was a perfect way to do it, man.
In that moment, David Chappelle materialized in the back of my head and just said, "Gotcha, bitch."
Yeah, right?
I mean, damn. In 2 moves, she had put herself up there with the likes of Jack Bauer and John Wick.
Did anybody else have Sergeant Stokes come back from the dead and be like, "Surprise, motherfucker"?
Yeah, right?
My god! Oh my god! Like, wow. What was Tyrion playing? Like, what was little Tyrion gonna do when he got his moment of courage and went out there like he was gonna do something? Like, what were you gonna do, bro?
Drink and know things. Drink and know things.
No, he went out there like he was about to battle with something. Like, dude, you're not gonna do nothing. Calm down.
Well, he did do a job, in the Battle of Blackwater, and then when those brigands came back in season 1, it's like he went to town. So don't count little man out. But speaking of Tyrion, is it just me or are we back to shipping Tyrion and Sansa?
That threw me off too. I was like, wow.
Seriously, I didn't even know that was there. I mean, their marriage in season 1 or 2 was kind of arranged or something like that. But
it was a sham,
He was always good to her, but she also was very sympathetic to him being treated poorly and the fact that he was the only good Lannister. And he always was very kind to her. She thought he was gonna and the thing is, remember, now they do it differently in the books, but remember, when they got married and they got back up to the room, she wasn't thrilled, but she was like, I guess this is what's happening. And she just took a big old glass of wine and was she was down and not enthusiastic, but she was like, well, I guess this is happening. And he was the one who was like, nah, we're good.
I think it's more on his side than it is her side, though.
I know. Well, no, I think it's balanced in a sense of, think about it. She has not had one positive relationship aside from Tyrion.
Yep.
If you look at it, Joffrey was sadistic and murdered her father and tortured her and had her stripped and beaten in front of everybody and kept threatening to rape her. Then she got married to Ramsay, who did all of that and raped her. Tyrion was her best case scenario the entire time. That's how dark Game of Thrones is.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But the thing is, they are an interesting pair. And the only thing she said about them not working out was his divided loyalties. It's damn, that's the only thing she brought up. What's happening here?
Yeah. Crazy, right? It's it's she still has her eyes on the Winterfell prize, which is crazy, man. I'm
I don't blame her. I think she was looking a little cross-eyed at those dragons when the fire started going, even though it was in their favor, because she was probably remembering that that's how the Targaryens took the North from them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man.
That's the story her dad used to tell.
But shout out to Daenerys though, when she got off the dragon and Jorah handed her the blade, she was doing workout. That was shot. I'm like, damn. I didn't know she had that. She was doing work out there, slicing and dicing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. And can we just shout out the little bear
Oh, dude.
Giant killer, bro, right in the eye. Like, oh, that was. Oh,
That's like,
God.
all right, you know what? I'm gonna die to you. You're gonna die to me. I ain't playing. Little bear comes for the.
Yep.
Man, that was hard.
You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. You know, since Daenerys was doing more work than Sam. Sam was running off scared and shit. Like, dude, you all that talk at the in the second episode. Then when the zombies come, he's running scared. Like, come
I was like, hey, I was the first dude to kill a White Walker.
Where was that at today? Where was that at tonight? I ain't seen that tonight. He was running scared tonight. And the Hound went complete bitch tonight. Where the hell? What happened to the Hound?
Sam, you ain't killing a second one, man. Sam, you bitch made the Hound. I can understand the Hound.
He went straight bitch.
Nah, the Hound was like, the fuck with this. Like, he was like,
no, he was hiding in the corner like a bitch. He was hiding in the corner, Roberto.
He's got PTSD, man. He's got PTSD.
That's what I'm saying. He's got like, you done seen up front. He was on the front line. I'd be like, I'm over this too. Like after that, I'm like, I'm over this.
Speaking of the front line, the Dothraki just got annihilated.
The Dothraki got rolled. You was like sitting there. Oh yeah, it's like we gotta like get
It was so crazy because they went in there with like all their fire swords and then like gradually all the fire swords got put out. Like damn.
I was like, oh damn.
They just got murked. Like,
like
damn.
Oh my damn. And the people on the wall was kind of like, the fuck just happened?
Right?
No. And the crazy thing is like the Dothraki, the mighty Dothraki, the ones that were surviving, they came running back. They're like, don't be on the board. They came running back.
Like, nope.
We out there, bro.
It was just like, nope.
They're like, we don't want that smoke, not tonight.
So I'm like, that's why I don't blame the Hound. I'm like, you got all that. He hates fire, and then he just saw these dudes, these dead men, just sitting there by the fire, just chilling. And then they decide they're just gonna throw themselves on the fire. It's like, you know what? Once you see that, I'm like, you know what? Nope. I'm out. Like, you know what? Nope.
Yep. Man. Yeah, that was just insanity, man.
Yeah, you're not lying, Shannon. Like John left Sam there to die, man. John was looking at him and he's like, I ain't got time. He just kept going. He walked right past them. I'm like, damn.
We got bigger fish to fry.
Seriously, he's like, I got time.
Everybody. He's like, you know, he was just like leaving everybody hanging. Like,
trying to get to where he had to go.
And the Red Woman came through.
Yep. You know, but here's the thing about the Red Woman, though. So, on account of what happened to her, does that mean that she was an undead the entire time?
No, she just cheated death with like fake immortality.
Yeah.
Explain how that works.
You don't remember a couple seasons back when they showed her in her quarters and she took the necklace off and she turned into an old lady?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So she, basically once she served her purpose for that whole story. So once she was done,
400 years or some shit, like 400 years or some shit. Like, so she's been around since basically Aegon Targaryen came to King's Landing with the dragons. Like,
she was there to serve a purpose.
And she like was like, she wasn't sure she was even gonna come through between, trying to get the trench lit up. Like, she didn't think she was even gonna like come through for them like that. She was there to serve a purpose, and then she saw her own future. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna die here, and like, Varys, you're gonna die here. Like, we're gonna die far from home, like, because they're from another country, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna die in Westeros. So like, Varys, in my opinion, my prediction still holds. He's gonna think, oh, I'm doing something for the realm, betray Dany, and get himself killed. Like, he's gonna like get himself killed in the next 2 episodes. Guarantee you, he's gonna get himself killed in the next 2 episodes, and it's gonna be because he betrays Dany. Because his whole thing is like, oh, I serve the realm. Oh, I serve the realm. Oh, I serve the realm. He's gonna get in his head that, oh, they're gonna lose. He's gonna bet on the wrong side, and he's gonna get murked.
Are you sure though? Because they just beat the undead. That was an unwinnable fight. They just won. Who in their right mind would bet against Daenerys now? I mean, you're breaking up.
Cersei's got a fresh, well-bred army waiting in the wings that didn't fight the undead and get half their numbers killed off.
Yeah, Cersei doesn't have dragons either, though.
The dragons aren't in the best shape right now.
Nobody on Cersei's forces. Oh, actually, no, she doesn't have that weapon, so I guess she has
multiples of that weapon. And you saw that overwhelming numbers can hurt those dragons.
A little bit, but yeah, like I was. Yeah,
Undead was like,
yeah,
that was a problem. That was almost game over. That was almost good night, Irene.
Oh my god! But man, it was wow. That episode. Zach, what's up, man?
Sorry, I'm just doing my best season 8, episode 3 impression here. Just gonna turn off all the fucking lights so you can't see a goddamn thing.
It literally like you got a lot like the first half an hour you couldn't see shit. Like, the hell, what's going on here?
Like, I'm glad I turned up the brightness on my television. I'm glad I did. About 15 minutes in, I'm like, this is BS. Can't see a thing.
You couldn't see a thing past the body count.
All right.
Crazy. And
you thought of barbecue, baby. There was a lot of barbecue going on in the first half an hour.
I found the ending with the Night King and Arya a little anticlimactic. Maybe I'm just. I mean, it was cool, but I mean, I just thought there'd be more. I thought there'd be some. I thought there'd be some answers.
Theon piling up the bodies. The answers are for the prologue, dude, or the epilogue. Like Theon piling up the bodies, though. It's like Theon went out like a man. Like, just say. Like,
no, I was happy with the way things ended for him.
I think
the moment between him and Bran.
That was interesting. I think Zach thought that more would happen with the Night King. I kind of thought, I love that. That ending was perfect. You couldn't end it any better than how they ended the Night King.
The Night King brought the storm.
I'm not saying I thought there'd be more.
And had that shit-eating grin.
I'm not saying I thought there'd be more with the fight. I just thought there. Okay, let's just get stupid. There we go. All right, I just thought there'd be more with, possibly an exchange of words or flashback or something to kind of answer some more questions. Instead, it was just like, it was just like two guys that haven't seen each other for a while, just kind of meeting up in the club and like, hey, and then, I don't know.
I think we'll get that later because of the fact that Bran survived. He has to explain everything to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good. It was still a good episode though. So
my dude on Modern Dad is asking, do we really think that's the end of the Night King? Yeah. Like, how's he gonna come back? He's done. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Everyone. I mean, unless the Night King wasn't the Night King, like that's the only other thing that they could do to subvert us. In the books, it's different though. In the books, it's slightly different because in the books, that's not the original Night King anymore, and the Night King was a Stark who was turned by the Night's Queen. So like there's the books are a little different, and I don't know if they'll pay any of that off. So like that's like, so anything could happen.
So who died for sure? Jorah
died. The little bear died.
That night watch dude died, whatever his name is.
Ed.
He's done. Yeah. But Grey Worm survived. I can't believe Grey Worm is living. He lived.
I'm shocked. I thought lighting the trenches or something.
Yeah, I thought he was gone, but he survived.
They made it through.
King's Landing, though. I'm telling you, I don't think Grey Worm makes it out of this alive.
I don't think so either, but I thought he was going to die at that battle, but he somehow didn't, man.
And since he promised Missandei that he would take her, back to the islands or whatever, to her homeland, I think he's going to die because he made that promise. I'm like, I didn't get to keep that promise. Like, you made the promise in this show?
Still 3 episodes, though, right? So
yeah, anything left, yeah, that's a lot of episodes. That's a lot of time for them to build up this final thing with them and Cersei. I don't know what they're going to do in all that time. I don't know.
Did you guys watch the preview for... Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, no, I was saying they'll find a way to fill it that time.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys watch the preview for next week? The quick 5-second, whatever it was. So they showed only one dragon.
No, I saw 2 of them, dude.
Did they show 2 in the preview?
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought Rhaegar died.
Rhaegar, both Rhaegar and Drogon are still alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Viserion bit the dust though. I was hoping that he was actually going to torch Jon, and Jon was going to pull through like Daenerys and be unburnt.
Yeah, that was my thought. Like, I thought he was going to straight up stab Viserion, and kill a dragon and like a boss, but
I thought for sure that the Hound would have a breakthrough and just go all out, but he didn't.
He was crazy.
I think it's better for his. I think it's better for his character development to keep showing his whole, because they did this in the Battle of Blackwater Bay, his whole PTSD thing. They did that in Blackwater Bay in the beginning of the show too, and I really like.
You know what? That's it's okay. It's okay. I will excuse the Hound because I know the Hound has a great battle coming with Clegane, so he'll be excused. As long as he performs in Clegane, I'm cool with him. He needs to perform.
We gotta get our whole sports announcer thing going.
That's right. We need Clegane to be legit.
Yeah. So it's like, yep. Like we're getting ready for it. We're just getting ready for it. They got an arena for us and everything. They're just like, man, I wish I had like literally some Clegane Bowl graphics, man. Just like some Fox Sports Clegane Bowl graphics, like just like
that would be hilarious.
The whole build up to the point where the Dothraki went running in was just insane. I've never felt
the tension.
Like
the tension was so good, dude. I was already getting anxiety like a good hour and a half before, man. So I ended up taking some CBD drops to like chill myself down because I was already getting anxiety like a motherfucker, man. So,
bro, I went all week for this.
I was in countdown mode today, gentlemen. I was like, you know what? I'm not editing this YouTube video. I'm like, nope.
We're gonna bask in the afterglow, right?
I mean, dude,
I'm glad I scheduled tomorrow's video in advance. Like, I just have to finish a thumbnail for it because, like, I was like, nah, I ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna enjoy this.
I was ready because I saw Endgame yesterday and I was kind of disappointed. I mean, it was good, but I was kind of disappointed with it. But I'm like, all right, this battle has to be
no spoilers. No spoilers.
I'm not spoiling it. I was just kind of disappointed.
I gotta hold back about my feelings about Endgame.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying it was just like I said in my non-spoiler tweet.
We're still under embargo.
Solid 9 out of 10, but there was just a
so
a
like
things that really bugged me.
Right, I was kind of disappointed with Endgame. Like the first 2 hours was like I'm not whatever, but I was kind of disappointed. It was a good movie, but I was disappointed. So I was waiting for this one, but this gave me everything and then some. Oh my god! Woo!
How many times did you get to go to the washroom?
Oh no, I didn't go.
I went once. I went once, and I went during the whole like the Ant-Man thing.
They kicked out two guys two rows down from me, and on the other end, apparently they were pissing in buckets.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that's my theater, right on.
They said there was a lot of that going on this weekend. I don't know how people get hold of them though. I think actually I went before the movie started. I went right before the movie started, and that was good.
Yeah. My scouting report already came back with the ideal times to go to the bathroom. So
your scouting report.
I already got all my boys. I told them, I was like, hey, when you find a lull or one of those points where people who have watched every one of these movies can go to the bathroom, as opposed to just whoever never sees them, let me know. And then they gave me half hour in, like just under an hour in, and like another window too. I was like, I'll be good. I just need one break, if anything, but I usually never need a break.
Yeah, I just went once.
My son went 3 times. I went once. So I
got my tickets for tomorrow. I told you guys what happened, right? Because handicap tickets.
Kind of weak that they don't have more availability for right at the top.
Yeah, so I mean, we got to do what we got to do, man. But at the very least, the good thing was that when they opened up all the extra theaters and all the extra showtimes, those fresh seats opened up. So I was like, yes.
I don't even know if I'm going to go see it a second time.
I have no
time. Everybody's going to go and see it a second time. 1.2 billion opening weekend. Not even opening week. Opening weekend.
Yeah, crushes everything, I think, right?
This thing's going to do 2 billion.
Oh, yeah.
The first. It's still showing right now. It's still showing tonight. The weekend's not even done yet.
Yep.
Oh, dear God. Like, yeah, it's like 1.2 billion. You could argue opening day. Like, Jesus.
But yeah, I have no desire to go again.
It's going to do 2 billion. Like, it's going to do 2 billion before it might do 2 billion before the weekend. It will do 2 billion before the week. Like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people going to see it again. Like I said, I have no desire to.
And no spoilers, but I'm for all of it. I'm fine. I'm for all of it.
Yeah.
And I'll say this for people that are worried about, do I have to see all the movies? I'll say this: you actually don't really need to see all the movies before, except for maybe Infinity War to honestly know the setup. But you'll have a more emotional payoff if you have seen the majority of the movies or the movies before. And
I would recommend for context to see Captain Marvel, just because then you won't feel that certain things were shortchanged, or because then there's a legit explanation for the scale we're talking about, the power leveling, the power scaling. The power scaling makes sense if you watch Captain Marvel. If you don't, the power scaling, and also Thor Ragnarok. If you watch Thor Ragnarok, and Captain Marvel, the power scaling will work for you.
Yeah, because Thor Ragnarok and then Infinity War is what gave us, Ultimate Thor. So that's what we were.
Yes.
They were building up to that. So we had to. That's the best way to understand it. You got to kind of explain it to people who've never seen it, but you can always send them to those YouTube crash sessions.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here, though? Because Daenerys' forces were completely obliterated. The Dothraki are gone. The Unsullied are pretty much gone. Like, well, who's left? I don't know what she has left.
She's got the North. Whoever's left of the North at this point, I'm assuming.
The Unsullied aren't gone. You got a decent chunk of the North left, but like, remember that Yara went back to Pike.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that a naval fleet will swoop in at the last minute.
But okay. So we know that Yara's out there, but Theon got killed. So what is her motivation for coming to join the war?
She doesn't know that.
Oh, she'll find out though.
She didn't know that, and she still swore fealty to Daenerys, and she still straight up has an uncle to kill.
Yep.
Oh,
I think she already. Okay. I mean, I think Yara already kind of
made her peace with the fact that you're gonna die to the dead.
Well, she already made her peace with Theon, knowing that he's gonna go back and fight. I mean, she knows that it's it could be the end, right? So they shook hands there on the boat there in episode 2, and right. So I don't think it's gonna be a surprise to her that he's dead.
If Theon had just chilled out for a couple of more minutes, or gave the Night King a better fight, he'd still be here with us right now.
I think, but also I think it also helped him underestimate Arya, because the way he snapped the spear like a twig, and just took him out like it was nothing. He assumed, oh, little girl, I got this. So
how could he know? He couldn't have known that Arya was coming from him. I mean, damn, dude.
Surprise, motherfucker! No,
she came out of nowhere. I mean, damn. I wasn't even expecting that. I mean, damn.
It was like this death from above. You guys ever watch The 100?
No, man, I've been meaning to watch that.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Well, there's a character that they end up calling what is it? They end up calling her Sky Rippa, which means death from above.
Nice. She came in, man. It was badass. So, she came in
the way Arya came in like a boss made me think death from above. That's all that's going to my head. It's oh, death from above. Yeah. Just
wow. Oh, that I'm still my body is still charged over that Arya thing. Oh my lord! It was so epic because before we even got to that part, she pulled out the weapon and just started laying people down. I'm like, yes, lay them all out. It was a biblical.
But I love that they made her realistic by when she got her head caved in there. Yeah. She calmed down.
I mean, you got knocked out a lot more business.
Smacking somebody's head up against some brick like that's going to gentle you down a little bit.
Jaime and Brienne still lived, correct? They were up against the wall there?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Barely.
So as far as we know, dude, because we didn't see.
And
Pod, yeah, he was right beside them too. So that kind of still serves to possibly the theory of Jaime killing Cersei at the end.
I think it's gonna be a mercy killing.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a mercy killing. To be very real with you, I think he's gonna have to kill her as a kindness. I think that's how bad it's gonna get.
I need Arya to survive the whole damn show. I need Arya to live.
But if Arya lives, I wonder if her and Gendry stay together after what happened last week, because it puts and I think I wonder if they'll actually go ahead and just ship Tyrion and Sansa, because that could put a kibosh in my one prediction, which I'll accept that. I'll accept being wrong on that. But when I saw Arya and Gendry get together, I was like, oh, is that a one night stand thing, or are they gonna play that off? Because I always imagine Arya going off on adventures at the end of all of this. I don't see her.
I think her
lady shit.
Her and Gendry's involvement brings her back down and humanizes her more, which also weakens her, right? Because she's been desensitized, and I know death, and now she has something more than her name to basically fight for. Because let's be real, she's not really close to Sansa as much as what she could be.
And the other thing we haven't talked about yet is what happened? Like, how are they gonna feel like Jonathan and Daenerys when they found out that Arya shut shit down? Like it was Arya who shut it down. You know?
I don't know. John just laying around there in the dirt there with the dragon, and then little girl comes around and just.
I think when everyone finds out it's Arya, they just gonna like step off. They're just gonna like whenever she's coming through, they're gonna be like,
they're gonna bow to the queen. They're like, we bow to the queen.
Like, easy killer. Like they were like people was already kind of like, oh damn. Like after seeing the fight with Brienne, they like, damn. Like after her kill Merc and Littlefinger, they like that girl alone, right? But like after they find out that she's the one who owned the Night King, because I don't know about them like just pretending it was John and Danny. I don't know if that's gonna work. Like, I don't think they're gonna do that. But like, when they find out it's Arya, they just gonna like go the other way. Like you see Arya, you were like, all right, killer. I see you.
Bran was like right on the instance of death to Arya saved us behind. So Bran, the whole Bran story thing is interesting because he's the three-eyed raven and he can like see the past and the future. So I wonder how he's going to come into the play with this final battle with Cersei. Like, is he going to give them a leg up, or is he going to be neutralized somehow? Or I wonder how he's going to play into it.
I mean, the Night King.
I don't know what his purpose is going to be.
Right.
Surveillance. I mean, like having those ravens. Like, I mean, that's what's going to even the playing field of like, well, when I can like sit there and I can literally scout like everything and listen to everything and overhear your plans and all that, like that kind of like, that's a really good strategic advantage, even when you're outnumbered and outgunned. So like knowing how you're going to deploy your troops, knowing where you position things, like knowing where your supply line is, like, it's like, you never want to be severely outnumbered, but if you're going to be, I would want like the three-eyed raven on my side. I'm like, you know what? I think I can pull a Hail Mary if I got the three-eyed raven.
Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but that gives you an advantage.
Don't you think they would have asked him for more information up until now, not just from now on kind of thing?
No, because I think they were doing this one thing at a time with the, hey, army of the undead here. And I don't think they fully are grasping his powers. I think it's going to be for him to step in and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Because like he's had to do that because they don't know what to ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Like any of us, if we have a wizard, we know what to do with them, right? These people, they're amateurs.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to tell now because basically all the predictions and everything I read and saw and all the videos and this and that and everything I've been reading up until today, nothing really came true except for a couple of death predictions, really. Yeah. If you had told me it was going to be Arya that would have stuck him with the knife at the end there, I'd be like,
I don't think I remember like I was like, I said, oh, it'd be fun if I didn't pick an Arya prediction as far as her killing the Night King. I had a lot of these fun, oh, it'd be cool if it's like Beric Dondarrion like taking the last bit of the fire in him because of coming back from the dead because of the Lord of Light. Like my big prediction was I thought for sure the Lord of Light was going to play a bigger role in this outcome because like we've seen evidence of the Great Other, that dark god. We've seen that through the White Walkers. Yep. And then we've seen through Beric Dondarrion and Melisandre and even just a teeny bit of Jon Snow. We've seen Rhaelor, the Lord of Light, like play an active role. We ain't seen the Seven do shit. We've seen the old gods kind of through Bran do some stuff. So I was like, okay, if there's a point where like any of the gods are going to play a role, it's going to be this battle, right? It's like if something's going to take out the Night King, it's going to be somebody coming through for the Lord of Light, right? And then Melisandre put in some work, but like I don't feel like there was enough payoff for the Lord of Light. And I'm like, that plot thread is still kind of hanging out there. It's like, so wait, where's this whole prophecy with the flaming sword and Azarari? Like, I mean, that was supposed to be like this huge, in the books, it's played up as a huge deal. So I thought something with that prophecy was going to play out in this great battle, which is why it makes me wonder if the Night King is the Night King. That's the one weird thing where I'm like, yep, the army of the dead is gone, but what is there still a Night King out there? Is there still like a like one tier above all of that?
And that was going to be my next question is at the end of this, are we still going to be with a wall that's broken? And are we still going to be without some sort of army on the other side? Or is everything going to be rebuilt over time? Do you know what I mean? right? So I guess we'll find out.
Well, I guess everything will everything will be rebuilt over time. Shannon's out there disappointed that more people didn't die. Don't worry, Shannon.
Accidentally fall their chest on a piece of dragon glass, do they become the next Night King?
I don't know if it works like that.
That was magic involving the children of the forest. I think it's a little more complicated than that. But
is it that they cast a spell first, or is the spell woven into all dragon glass? Like, see, that's a weird thing.
Well, it was the children of the forest that pushed it into them, right? So
yeah.
But there's got to. But yeah, I'm in agreement. There needs to be some sort of explanation of that, like what, like we know why the children of the forest made the White Walkers, because the first men had come and were cutting down their trees and destroying them, right? So
yeah. So Shannon, I don't think you need to worry, because I think there's going to be a lot more death before the show's over with. Now, because we're dealing with humans and their own selfish intentions. So before you had this battle with the undead, everybody was on the same page. But now everybody's going to be out for themselves, which means a lot of betrayals, a lot of backstabbing, literally. So there's going to be some death, Shannon. Don't you worry. The death is coming.
Oh, yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of, like you said, backstabbing and a lot of people making emotional decisions.
Tyrion has to redeem himself now, because Daenerys said, like, I need to keep you alive for what comes after this. And, like, now it's his time. If he's going to do anything, like the Lannister brothers, the Super Kingslayer brothers, as I like to think of them, the Super Kingslayer brothers, they got to come through now.
Yep.
They got, like, Jaime proved himself by surviving this and, like, you know, doing right. And I think nobody is going to be giving Jaime shit anymore, because it's like, dude, like, we survived the dead. Like we all good here. We're like, hey, all that old shit. I think that for the people who just survived this, all that old shit's over. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want to get, like, except for Dany. Dany's the only one who's going to be mad, unreasonable. I think everyone else is just like.
Well, she showed her cards there in episode 2 when she sat down with Sansa, and Sansa was like, "Okay, what about after? What about after?" And then she took her hands away, and then the way that she freaked out with Jon when Jon told her, "Hey,
I'm Rhaegar. I'm sorry,
I'm your nephew," you know, and this and that. So she's clearly showing her cards this season that nothing else really matters except for the Iron Throne, and she's basically up north right now out of love. But now none of that really matters anymore, because.
Do you think fighting the Night King and losing Jorah changed anything for her, or changed her?
I think she now doesn't. I think she's just eye on the prize.
I don't know, man, because like I said, Jon Snow was almost dead twice tonight, and she came in both times with the dragon. Like, nope, you can't kill him yet. So she is really, really attached to Jon. So I think her motivation could be.
She's still in love with Jon.
Yeah, I think her.
I think if Jon can maybe let her know with whether directly or indirectly, and just say, hey, I don't care about thrones or anything. I just care about my people up north. Then that will ease the tension.
Yeah, I think she's gonna go with whatever Jon says, or try to.
I think now that he knows he's Aegon, I think he does care now that he knows I'm not a bastard. My parents wanted me. I think that his identity just got completely shifted, because, like, he realized, like, this whole time there was something for me. I had a destiny, and it was stolen from me. And, like, I think that's like, I mean, can you imagine your whole life always being insecure, always being spit on, like, bastard, only to find out you're the most worthy, and you're, like, from the greatest bloodlines of all time. The Starks, born from the first men, the kings of winter, and the Targaryens, the dragon lords, and that you're the culmination of those two great houses, the two greatest houses to ever live. Because remember, the North is bigger than all the Seven Kingdoms combined, and it's older. That you're, like, the sum of all things, and you've been spit on your whole fucking life, and you find out that you are first in line.
Well, I hope we see his character wrestle with that.
That's a lot. I want to see more of that, but I'm like, how do you turn that down and say, nah, I don't care? Because I'm like,
I can give you a reason.
Huh?
I can give you a reason. He just survived instant death. I don't know if he's going to be caring about thrones too much after he just survived he survived a date with death. He literally survived death. So
but I don't know if he's going to be now.
But
But that's off the table now. Night King's dead.
Yeah, but I mean, you see things a little different when your life flashes before your eyes, Roberto. It's a little different. You might have a little different outlook on life.
Like, wow, I survived the army of the dead and the Lord of Winter. It's like, huh. Now about that Iron Throne.
That's right. That's
I
right.
don't know. Like that was never his intention. I don't think he's gonna be looking at throne.
But it was never on the table. It was never his intention because it was never on the table.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's rightfully his.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna sweat it that much.
From him, he should be just as salty about that as Danny. Like, but at the same time, I'm like, why doesn't she say it's like, well, we could just go in on this together. We were gonna hook up. We were probably gonna get married anyway. But now we both have a claim. You know what?
I know.
Why don't we just split it even?
The other get married and then you can have
let's go halvesies on this.
The other factor is that none of this matters until they get first of dispatch of Cersei, so they gotta deal with her first.
I don't know if they have to deal with her first to resolve hey, let's go ahead and get married. And let's go ahead and hey, we're in this together. It's like, let's just go halvesies. Like,
Roberto looking for the happy ending, and you know that's not gonna happen, Roberto. We talk about Game of Thrones here.
It's like,
happy ending.
Danny, it's like I get the throne 3 days a week. You get the throne the other 3 days a week. And we flip for it, and we flip for it on Sundays.
He's crazy, y'all. He's out of his mind. Did Torment survive? I don't remember seeing him.
I didn't see him. I was looking at live blogs, so he's not on the kill list, and so I think he's good.
So that giant milk held him out. Okay, cool.
That's right. Came through, man. Hey guys, I gotta drop off, Viber. Hey, thanks for having me on, man. And dude, that was an awesome episode. I'm gonna have to rewatch that this week at some point and just kind of slowly digest.
I'm gonna watch it twice more tonight.
I'll be there. How can you not rewatch it? I'll be good lord.
I'm gonna watch it with the brightness all the way up this time. Not
did
just
anybody notice that there was no previously on Game of Thrones? They just went right into it.
Yeah, dude, it was worth it, man.
I'm
all right, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Jeff.
All right, Jeff.
I am still jacked about what we just watched. Wow.
Oh my god. Besides Arya, what was your favorite scene?
I don't know. I don't want to say it's not my favorite thing, but I was waiting for Daenerys to come through and start barbecuing people with the dragons. I'm like, are we really just gonna let the undead just advance when you got dragons over there that can just barbecue them? So finally, she decided to hop on her dragon and barbecue some people. So that was pretty cool. But I don't know.
The dragon scenes was cool. I felt like there was a little too much of the them fighting the winter storm thing. Like I felt like that ate up a little bit too much time. Like they could have showed it and moved on. Like the Night King with that shit-eating grin after the fire when they when she tried to and then he's like, oh really?
Yo, the Night King was a little pussy though. When Jon Snow came after him, he raised the dead. I'm like, really, dude? I want to see a fight.
That wasn't a pussy. He was like, you know what I can, you know who I am, right?
No, that was a pussy mover, bro. Don't give him a pass. That was a pussy mover.
John was like all about it, like he was gonna be like single combat, and then John, and then he looks at him and then John pauses, and then Night King's like, really, son, you forgot who I am. And then John sees him start raising hands. You saw John's face fall. He was like, oh.
No, John did what he was supposed to do. Once John realized what was happening, he started rushing him, but it was too late.
Yeah, but he had a moment of where he put that together,
right.
Oh, because the thing is, there was a minute where John was taking his sweet time getting to him, and he's like, I should have been running this whole time.
Yeah.
Why was I? Well, I regret everything. Why should I have been running already? Because
so Shannon feels like the dragons were underused.
Budget.
I don't know if I can agree with that, just because you don't want to use the dragon too much, because then it just feels like overpowering.
Do we know for sure if Ghost is dead?
No, Ghost is fine.
Because we saw him run in there with the Dothraki, and then
are you sure Ghost is fine? Like Zach said, he was on the front line running with the Dothraki, and I don't know, man.
Ghost is fine.
Okay.
They always kill the wolves on screen, more or less, or show you that they're dead. They show you a corpse. They show you the head taken off. They put arrows in them. They show you when they kill the wolves. The wolves have been with the show from the beginning, so they show you Nymeria. They showed us that Arya's wolf is just still out there running around, you know. in the books, Nymeria has an even bigger role where she's like got this like freaking super pack of wolves, and they're just actually running around. And then Arya's like in Nymeria's mind, she's asleep. The book are just the less than Bran. Bran's the three-eyed raven and a green seer, but all the Starks are wargs. That's why the guy who had the eagle was actually afraid of Jon and thought he was gonna like steal his familiar, I guess you could call it, right? Like he thought like that was gonna be a thing. And then there's a theory that Jon, when he was dead, was temporarily inhabiting Ghost. Because remember, the guy warged into his hawk when Jon killed him. And that's why the hawk clawed his face. Because it was still that guy. Like, so, like, in the books, Arya, in her dreams, is running around in Nymeria's wolf body, killing Lannister soldiers for free in the woods, like, the whole time. Like, every night, Arya is dreaming of literally just in a wolf body killing Lannisters. That's all Arya does, like, when she's asleep in the books.
I think it's safe to say if we don't see Ghost next episode, even if it's just like a quick little thing in the background, it's probably safe to say that he's dead. But I am agreeing with you that they've always shown the wolves' deaths, you know, in history, right?
So we just came off one of the probably, actually no, not probably. We just came off the best episode of Game of Thrones ever. So what exactly are we doing next week? Because there's 3 episodes left. And I think episode 6, I think we're so you said that episode 6 is like the prologue or whatever, or the epilogue, whatever you want.
Probably.
Which means episode 5 is going to be the climax, apparently. So what are we doing next week?
Next week is going to be another setup episode. It's going to be all the aftermath of the Army of the Undead, and then the planning stages of the attack on King's Landing. And also, we're going to get the drama of what's going on in King's Landing, because no one likes Cersei. Everyone's out to get like.
Okay. Let me stop you right there, though. You said we're gonna get the planning for the attack on King's Landing, but Cersei knows what just happened. So don't you think she's gonna attack Winterfell first?
Why would she?
No, I think they're just gonna barricade themselves and surround King's Landing.
She's got these legions of forces. They don't know the north, and it's still winter up there. It's still cold. They would lose people just off of that. Whereas if they stay in the south, where they know the terrain and where they have their resources and where they have control, you would never venture north. I mean, that's why like everybody who invaded Russia paid for it. Like, so you don't do that. You don't, like, every time someone goes into the north without dragons, it never ends well. Like, so like, just that's the history of Westeros is like, yeah, you don't go north. That's where things go to die. So, you know, you don't bring war to the north, like, you know, and when the people from the north go down south, it doesn't usually go great for them either. Like, you know, people need to stay in their lanes, like, unless you got dragons, then you can do what you want. That's the rules. I write the rules.
So at some point tonight, my heart rate reached 112 beats per minute.
Jesus, sounds about right.
Yeah, I was a little crazy tonight, just a little bit. Man, what? Wow! I feel like I'm still on an emotional high after what we just watched. That was great.
Gotta watch it again. That's for sure.
Got to. All right, gents. Any parting thoughts before we get out of here?
I thought the Night King should have got some more play.
Same.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know what happened. That was kind of weird because the whole like show was built around him and where he's coming, and then like when we finally get to where he should have been more of a factor, he really wasn't that much.
And I think with the Army of the Dead should have got even more play than they did. And I think his generals, like, what the fuck were they doing?
They were like, okay, so they weren't doing anything. What do you mean the Army of the Dead should got more play? The whole episode was the Army of the Dead. What are you talking about?
Like, I think like they didn't like it just ended up being too much typical zombie shit. Like,
oh yeah.
Like for them, like the thing that I liked was I liked the things we weren't expecting that were genuinely terrifying. Like when like they just stopped in front of the fire and that was that. And then also when Night King's like, you know what? And then they just started throwing themselves on the fire and then letting their comrades trample over. Like that was the weird, not typical zombie shit of knowing that there's an invisible hand with an intelligence behind this horde. Like I wanted more of things like that.
That's what I was talking about. Like so the Night King comes into the Godswood with him and his generals or the other whites, right?
Right.
And then you have basically all the nobodies doing all the fighting all around. I just thought there'd be more involvement with the generals and everything like that. And like I said, when he went one-on-one with Bran there, I thought there'd be more. I thought there would at least be a touch or some sort of quick, flashback or something like that to kind of answer some more questions.
I feel like the generals should have been going after Jon and Dany, and the Night King should have handled Bran himself. Because think about it, like the two things that you do have to, for the things you have to worry about, you have to, if you're not thinking about Arya, you gotta worry about those two dragons and their riders, and then you got Bran. So I'm like, I would have sent two of my generals to deal with Jon, one of my generals to deal with Dany, and I would have dealt with Bran myself.
See, but you all are counting on dead people to be smart and have brains. They don't.
Night King clearly had intelligence.
But it wasn't. I mean, he fell for an obvious trap. I mean, there was some rumors that he might just go straight to King's Landing, but I kind of figured that was kind of crazy. I'm like, I mean, he might have some intelligence, but he doesn't have that much intelligence, and obviously he fell for the trap, and then he got. But
I mean, I feel like if he had taken some of his forces to King's Landing, that would have been more interesting, to be honest. It would have evened things out, but it would have also been more interesting. Yeah. But they haven't had to split their forces. Like the whole thing about the Army of the Dead is just having those straight up numbers, and the fact that every time you kill people that they just add to your forces. Like that's the sinister thing, right? And so I did like the whole, oh yeah, all these people you just lost are mine now. And like just like at Hardhome when they did that was where like everyone they lost just filled his ranks, just filled his coffers, like where he just was like, and then everybody that just died that you just watched horrifically die and suffer just got right back up.
Man, when he did that in front of Jon, I thought I was watching a video game. That reminded me of some video game type stuff when you go against a boss and then you got up there and it's like now halfway and then they do some crazy stuff and regenerate for a second fight. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Serious right now.
And the expression too on their face when they're, that's not fair. Like, like
right.
That's not
and
fair.
The theory about the Crips out came true, which I was actually pretty happy. I was pretty happy to see it happen. I thought there'd be more in there, more like we saw some bodies bust out of some Crips, right? Yep. Now, did I think that Ned Stark would come out walking around with his head in his hands? No. But I thought there'd be more emphasis on, okay, here's this old Stark character that just came out and now he's gonna kill all of us. But it was just it seemed like it was just a bunch of random skeletons, basically.
Yeah, so, pretty much.
Like I think it was more like maybe like the people who built the crypts were like buried into the walls or something like that, kind of like how they did with the Great Wall of China or some shit. Like is what it seemed like to me a little bit. There's in the books, I think it might play out differently when we get the books for that particular thing, because there's a lot of lore about why the Starks were buried there and buried with iron swords to ward off evil spirits. I think in the books it might even be possible that the Starks come back like from the dead, but they're not whites, they're not evil, like, and they actually go the other way. Like I think that would like, and you know what? Here's a plot thread they haven't covered: Benjen Stark being somewhat undead.
Yeah.
Like they have not paid off that. Like,
well, theoretically, he died last year saving Jon.
We didn't see him fully die, and he's somewhat undead already. So like they never explained it. And there's a different character like that in the books, but like they never fully, again, they didn't fully pay that off as far as I'm concerned. So I'm like, so that's going like, and like, why was he undead but not undead? Like, why was he not under the Night King's control? Like, what, like, That's a really big specific plot thread to just not resolve.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I thought about that myself. I'm like,
I mean, we're not gonna see any undead characters from the past walking around now because it's over. I mean, except for
Allegedly.
I mean, yeah.
Allegedly.
Like what plot threads? Like what aside from the people we still have to kill off?
Mm-hmm.
What plot threads are still hanging?
Well, Arya still has her list of people, so that's still that.
We still got Arya's list in play.
Yep.
We still got the Game Bowl.
Yep, cool Game Bowl.
Iron Throne is obviously an obvious one. We don't know how that's going to play out.
We don't know how Varys is going to die, but we know he is because that's a prophecy. That's a prophecy.
And Cersei is pregnant, so we got to figure out how that's going to play out.
Cersei's prophecy, as far as like her death, like Azor Ahai, the Lightbringer, that still hasn't manifested. Like Azor Ahai, the Lightbringer, still hasn't manifested, so that's a plot thread. The necklace.
I don't think it's gonna manifest because all the match people are dead now.
Melisandre's. So like the thing is,
there's such a plot hole with that necklace thing because there were several scenes, and I think it was season 2 where she wasn't wearing it and she didn't she didn't die.
She not wearing it could have been a glamour, meaning that it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is going on. Obviously Jonathan Daenerys. So I'm your uncle. I'm your nephew now. Oh yeah. We gotta play that out.
Yeah, and
the Sons of Daenerys beef, because there's still beef there. Like, what's gonna happen between them two? What's happening with the North? Like Sansa was adamant about what's happening with the North.
So Gendry is still a Baratheon, even though he's not interested in it. But he would technically get Storm's End. He would technically he would get the Stormlands.
Yep.
Because before Stannis Baratheon tried to become king, he he was Lord of Storm's End. That's the Baratheons' seat of power that was granted to them by the Targaryens. And the Baratheons technically are part of the Targaryen family. They have a little bit of Targaryen in them because Robert's grandmother was a Targaryen.
Was she really? Okay.
Yeah. The Baratheons are the oldest vassals of the Targaryens, and they were like brothers in arms. And so like I think it was like Aegon married like one of his sons married his daughter to a Baratheon because just like how Robb and Ned wanted to join their bloodlines. Remember? So similar deal. And that's why Robert technically had a claim that people would accept to the Iron Throne because he had Targaryen blood in him.
Gotcha.
Not by conquest alone. So, because they'd been under Targaryen rule for the last 300 years. So whether they legitimize, because the thing is, Jon or Daenerys could technically legitimize Gendry and make him a Baratheon and not a bastard anymore, and legitimize him and give him the Stormlands. So that's a thread that can still be resolved. The Lannister mines being empty and whether the Lannisters are still rich or not, that's an interesting plot thread. Because like they might be out of money for all we know.
The way I try to look at these last 3 episodes is like I respect the books and I understand where you're coming from, Roberto, and everything.
That's not in the books. That's actually Tywin said that before he died. Yeah,
and there's been like little breadcrumbs or anything, but the way I look at it is I look at it from the viewpoint of just someone that just does this, turns on and what they know is what they maybe saw in the last couple episodes kind of thing. So how are they going to like simplify it? I guess the easiest way to say is how are they going to dumb it down?
They've been hitting that. They've been hitting the whole Lannisters gold mines being out of money thing for like 3 seasons now. So with
the Golden Company and everything. Yeah.
The Iron Bank.
Iron Bank. Yeah.
And the Crown being bankrupt has been since season 1, and being massively in debt to the Iron Bank. You have to remember that even if Jon and Daenerys win, you know what the problem is? they still have to pay Stannis Baratheon's
Yep.
debt and Cersei's debt and Robert Baratheon's debt.
Yeah, because it's the crown or the throne's debt, not necessarily the family's debt. Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, so like, or the Iron Bank will be like, we'll just take it, like we'll just put somebody else on the throne they'll guarantee the loan,
Yeah.
and pay the installments.
And if you really want to break it down, I mean, it really comes down to the bank that caused all this. Like, sure, we'll give you the armies you want. We love that interest, right?
Right? Yeah.
Someone else has been watching Emergency Awesome as well, right?
All of this
Oh yeah.
since we had 2,000 subscribers. Like I've been trying, and but so you know, like I was debating like a long time ago making a second channel and doing that because like I have like all this intimate knowledge of the books. Like, because here's another interesting thing with this is that so this whole thing, aside from the White Walkers part of it, like Littlefinger engineered this entire thing. And it was interesting that like he died off before he could see all of it play out. But this, like, in terms of the people left that are schemers, don't forget about Qyburn, the fake maester, like Qyburn. Like that's an interesting payoff. And since Sam survived, it's interesting. Another plot thread is does Daenerys kind of make things up to him by giving him like his family's like lands or whatever? Is he still technically a brother of the Night's Watch? Is the Night's Watch even going to be instated anymore because now they don't have to defend the lands of men from the wildlings? The wildlings are here, and there's no White Walkers in the north anymore, no Grunkins, none of that old shit. It's all done. So between the fact that Jon already gave the wildlings some of the lands of the Night Watch and the wall's fucking done, like do any of those vows still hold up? Is there a need for the wall anymore, or is that
no? And I think that kind of plays into like what the way I'd like to see it end, which I know this won't happen, which is a queen in the south, a king in the north. Daenerys says, no problem, your people in your north, this is the line right here, the north is yours, whatever, and that's how it ends and everybody's happy. And that we all know that's not what's going to happen, but I mean, it could, right? There could be elements there that could happen, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Daenerys lives through the season. I don't think Jon lives through the season either.
Going with some of their themes of female empowerment, I'm pretty sure that Yara becomes queen of the Iron Islands, or at least Lord or Lady of the Iron Islands. Something she get. Like Yara's gonna rule the Iron Islands, and I think Sansa becomes Wardeness of the North or Baroness of the North or some shit. Like I think that's like I think that the North has to get something out of this because we started with the North. We started everything with the Stark family, and we all started hating and underestimating Sansa. So like I think that bookending this, Sansa has to rule the North. Like I'm pretty sure that Sansa has to rule the North. Bran's disqualified from that. Like Bran's gonna pull some Frodo shit and like ride off into the distance or something. You just know that like. Yeah.
He's like, okay, I gotta go, guys. I gotta go build that wall, and then I'll be the new Night King. See you guys in 100 years. Like, I don't know. Like, it's
some shit. Like
it's so confusing now, especially after what we saw tonight. Because I thought there would be way more deaths. I thought there'd be way more significant deaths. Not that I'm saying that Jorah and like the people that did die weren't significant deaths, but I thought there would be more.
I would have swore hand to God that for sure that Grey Worm was gonna go out like a badass. Like I
thought he was going to, but he lived to fight another day.
I thought he was gonna be like, to be honest, I thought he was gonna be one of the like first ones to die. Like I was like, when that trench didn't get lit up, I was like, damn, they're gonna like throw Grey Worm to like do that. They got like him and the Unsullied are gonna like go out like badasses. Like they're gonna get that.
And it was almost a little It was almost a little too convenient to have Missandei come back here, the Red Woman, and light everything up just out of nowhere. She discovers these powers and everything, because last time we saw her, she was told to F off and go south, and if you come back north, we're going to execute you. But then she just conveniently kind of shows up, just like a certain character in a certain movie that came out this past weekend, and just kind of solved a bunch of things.
But like with Melisandre, she was prophesied to die in the North.
I
Like
know. No. She said to Varys, "I'm going to die in this land." She didn't say the North. But anyway, that's.
Well, we
whatever.
knew she was going to die in the North when they told her if you come back north, you're going to die. Like,
Okay, yeah.
Because remember the literary rule, Chekhov's gun. It's like just like everything we saw in Breaking Bad was foreshadowing. It's like, all right, you pulled out that gun, it's got to go off.
Oh, and the haircut. Oh yeah, the haircut. Yeah, Genos is.
Oh man, but yeah, I think we are good to go on that note. Thank you all for joining the live stream tonight. What a hell of an episode! Oh my
Before
God.
we wrap things up, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you plan on having a stream like this to discuss Endgame once you think enough people have seen it?
If people want to, yeah, we can do that. I was thinking about that, but it's one of those things where how much time do we have to give people before everybody should have seen it, you know?
True.
But that would be pretty cool because there are a few things that took place in that need to be discussed.
Yeah. It's hard to discuss because you don't know who's seen it yet and everything like that. Right. You gotta be careful about what you tweet because I don't want to be that guy.
But it'd be one of those things like I do for this live stream. I have in the title spoilers, so anybody that comes into the live stream, I'm assuming they're watching the movie. So
I have friends that I've been DMing that literally told me they teared up during Endgame.
There are a few parts there. I got some dust in my eye.
I think if you grew up with these Marvel movies, I think that there are reasons where that's like a
Oh yeah, I agree.
Hopefully,
I'm not gonna fault anybody for it. No.
Yeah. Like if you were the age that the kid in the first Iron Man movie was when Iron Man came out. Like if you saw Iron Man when you were like 10 or 12.
So when did Iron Man come out? 2000.
10 years ago.
10 years ago. So these movies started before my son was born. My son's 7 years old. And he was into it. He was grabbing onto my arm and, oh my God, Dad. Da, da, da. And I'm like, oh, do you have to pee? No, just look what happened. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So like if you can imagine that you're that age when this all started and you grew up with it and like you're like 20 now.
Yeah.
Like the culmination of like, wow, this has been a story that's been in the making for half of your life.
I'll just say at 39 years old, as growing up with comic books, not a lot of comic books, I'm not deep into them. Yeah. I'm just glad I got to see this in the flesh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a proper telling. Even if obviously there's changes here and there. Iron Man's never been one of their top characters until recently, until MCU. Traditionally, Iron Man was never one of these.
He's been for I'd say the last like 12 years, 12, 13 years from the comics.
But if you go back to the 80s or early 90s when you and I were reading, when we were, because you're only a few years younger than me.
Yeah, I'm 30.
Iron Man was never that top guy. It was always Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
Captain America.
One of their best, because Spider-Man was one of their best grossing comics, and they had multiple Spider-Man labels, and that was a big deal, and that was making them the money. But Iron Man, in terms of power scaling, was always one of their big boys in terms of power scaling, and he, because of the animated, in the 90s, because of the Iron Man cartoon. He got a lot of billing when they were doing the Iron Man and Fantastic Four cartoon. But the real Marvel cartoon that like really paved the way for like all of this, as we all know, it was two of them. It was the X-Men animated series and the Spider-Man animated series of 1994.
See, I never watched that one. I watched the old
Spider-Man
80s, 70s.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Like I'm talking about the one with where they had like the Aerosmith Spider-Man.
Oh, okay, no, I never watched that one.
Spider-Man from the from 1994 and like ran for like you never like.
I never watched. Okay, so just to kind of summarize, during that time I was homeless, so I didn't really have a chance to watch Spider-Man.
Okay, well, a lot of it's on YouTube now, and the X-Men series from back then, and the X-Men series from back then from like 1993, like 1993. Was X-Men the animated series, and it was so good. It was ahead of its time, cutting edge stuff. And then like a year later, Spider-Man the animated series. There was a short-lived Silver Surfer animated series that's actually really good. that animated universe kind of paved the way for what the MCU did in so many ways.
Yeah.
And it was like growing up with that, and then like you said, seeing all of this played out and everything like that, even with especially the space stuff. Like I know there's people who have some issues with like Captain Marvel, but if you ever read the more like the comics where you get into like the Living Tribunal and all of Thanos' stuff and the multiple Infinity storylines, it's like Captain Marvel's not that overpowered. If you go to the galactic level beings in Marvel, it's like, nah, not really. Like, you want overpowered? All the times Captain Universe shows up, which is a living Deus Ex Machina scenario, right? Like, you know about Captain Universe and the Unipower. Like all the time Spider-Man has gotten Captain Universe, that's been like, oh, like that's like, you know, that's like beyond, oh, you're worthy to lift Thor's hammer and everything like that. Like, you want to talk about overpowered? Rick Jones is overpowered. Like, for real.
I thought you were about to say Rick James, but okay.
No, well, yes, but Rick Jones, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, with like his evil future self, but also the version of him that's worthy to lift Thor's hammer and is like gone on all these events. Like, it's like Rick Jones is kind of like overpowered. Like you have to be a real comic book nerd to know like that. Like,
there's a lot of material for the next few years to be pulled from. I'm just saying that it's really cool that we got to see this in the flesh over the last 10 years, and it was,
oh my god, yes,
for the most part done properly. I mean, you can nitpick here and there.
Best movies. I still believe that.
Yeah, I mean, but let's be serious. Like the whole weekend, this whole weekend was like amazing.
This whole weekend's been an emotional roller coaster.
This whole weekend was ridiculous. But like, on that note, like, we do gotta get up out of here. I gotta get ready for work. So gotta get up out of here. I appreciate you gentlemen joining me tonight, and I appreciate
Thanks for having me.
Hanging in the live stream. We'll be back to do it again next week. So y'all know how we do.
Appreciate it.
But I'm still hyped about what happened tonight. But until the next time, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.